All right, we've got JJ. How are you, man? Just getting sorted here. Let's hope the audio works. It's a bit of an improv 10:30 p.m. Live session here. Different time of the day. I thought, why not? Jump on, see who's around. Play a bit of acoustic. Maybe take some Q&A or whatever. Whatever anyone wants to talk about is all good. So, yeah, just give me 1 sec, folks. Share this around. It might already push through to my Twitter account. I just want to double check. Come on. All right, it is live, so we're good to go. We've got Linkman Nut. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. He says, hi, GH Link. I'll call you GH Link. It's a lot easier. We've got the Guitar Geek. How are you, man? Thanks for stopping in. We've got Mark's Naughty Guitars. Al Drum Blog. How are you, man? Franciscus Rico, I think it's pronounced. And Marcin Saka. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Horrible with name pronunciation. So I just got asked by the Guitar Geek, what am I playing? So this is an Epiphone. It's an EJ200S or L, EJ200 SCE. It's a, in Australia, about $500. So not overly expensive for an acoustic. It's a jumbo, so it's big. One thing I didn't think about when I bought this is when you got your arm over the front on a guitar this wide, it tends to kind of dig in a little bit. It's not the most comfortable guitar to play when you're standing. When you're sitting, it's all right. You can kind of like hang your arm off the back here, but it's a little uncomfortable. So Francis says, I just bought a lefty Tokai thanks to you. It's amazing. Awesome, man. Let me know which one you got. They're great guitars. I love mine. Mine too, I should say. We got JTBG Host. How are you, man? JC Richardson says, love your pedal demos. Appreciate that, man. I put a lot of work into them. They take a long time. Each one's a day long. That's what it's come to get the quality up to where they are. So cheers, appreciate that. Say potato. There you go. Potato. There you go. All right, so I don't often play acoustic guitar, and they say if you want to get your chops up, play acoustic guitar. It's supposed to be like the increases your muscularity in your fingers, or makes playing electric guitar a whole lot easier. And the cool thing about this guitar is it kind of feels like my 335 neck or my Les Paul neck. It's got that kind of shape. So it feels good to play. The thing with acoustic guitar is you actually have to strum or finger pick. So my two ways of playing would be either pick or kind of doing this this sort of thumb down, fingers up thing. Kind of gives it a bit of a percussion thing too if you sort of slap down. I'm pretty bad at some of that stuff, but other times, depending on the groove, that was a weird kind of feel, but depending on the feel, I like to sort of get my hand going like, so where the snare would be. So Stop No Names, welcome, man. How are you, Neil? Hope you're feeling all right, dude. He says, my Martin gets a thrashing these days. It's good. It's a nice guitar, as it should. This isn't anywhere near the caliber of a Martin guitar, but aesthetically, it's awesome. It looks great. I use that tone right thing on here too. If you don't know what a tone right is, it's TONERITE. And it's supposed to basically, it vibrates on your strings, and it's supposed to change it's supposed to give it a played-in quality, like you've had the guitar for 10 or 15 years or whatever, but within 2 weeks. And maybe made a bit of a difference, but putting new strings on also makes a difference. I've done a stop no names with this guitar. The only time I changed the strings, actually, I've never changed the strings. I've had it about a year, almost a year, I guess. I bought it for my last album, and this particular guitar had new strings when I bought it. So I recorded the day that I bought it and the day after, and then I was finished with it. And I'm about to start recording again, so it's time to change the strings. That's how little I play acoustic guitar. So, but hopefully it sounds okay over the mic. Let's move it down here. So it's a real songwriter's kind of guitar. They write a song about a pickup truck. We've got someone from Florida here. How's that for typecasting you, man? Sorry, Paul. One of the cool benefits of this guitar is it basically has two separate pickup systems. It has this kind of like a tally, not a tally, but it's a typical electric guitar pickup, but it looks completely different sitting right here. So you can plug this into an electric guitar amp, select that pickup, and basically play it like an electric guitar. It also has one here under the bridge part here, which you can also blend between both pickups or use one or the other. So it's got two outputs on the back. As you can see, you can run sort of dual stereo output. It's not an effect on the stereo. It's literally just two lines out. So you can choose which one you want to use, basically, or you can use both. All right. It is 10:30. Excuse me, guys. It's 10:30 p.m. here. I just got asked what time it is. Let me know where you're from, too. We've got Rod from Germany. How are you, man? JJ's just eating lunch in Germany. This is cool. This is cool. Usually I do the live streams at a certain time of day where it's usually Americans, Canadians, some Europeans on as well, but it's usually at the other end of the clock. So this is cool. We've got Ranger. I think that's how you pronounce that. How are you? We've got Jack in the Box. He asks, hey, love your videos. I have a random question, but my electric guitar has a floating bridge, which I struggle with when restringing. Will it affect the sound or tone if I fix the bridge in place? No, I don't think it does. I hear a lot of companies or a lot of techs will do that to sort of like Gretsch guitars and other guitars. But what I would do is Google it first and or take it to someone who knows what they're doing. You don't want to sort of glue it down and then have it come off. So if you don't know your way around like doing it properly, my suggestion would be get it done properly, because it's definitely one of those things where you don't want to butcher that at all. So, all right. Stop My Name says, I played one of those at Allen's in Blackburn. It was really good. If I didn't have the Martin, I would have bought it. Yeah, for $500. It's pretty wild. I like the large body Gibsons in terms of look. I think, this is what that's based off. It's got that kind of style. But yeah, it definitely has a certain type of vibe about it. I did play another guitar that may have sounded better. It was called a Takamine, and it was a little bit more expensive, but I really like the look of this. I'm a sucker for big Jumbo Acoustics. I like this a whole lot more than my old Maton acoustic guitar. It's probably not the same quality of sound unplugged, but once you grab a pick, it really starts to sound pretty good, in my opinion. Whoops. All right, we've got someone from Uruguay. That's GH Link. Cool, man. We got Pat. How are you, dude? 6:32 a.m. in Canada. Either you've just woken up or you haven't gone to bed. We got Rod, Mercer Mustang. Do us a favor, folks, if you like the live streams I do and you want to see more of them before they disable this Google Plus live stream thing from YouTube, I just got a notification saying it's going to end in April. Just give the video the thumbs up if you can. I appreciate that. Someone's already given it the thumbs down. I don't know why, but must be trolling. All right, so D asks, can you tell us about the Stereotone amp you tried? I've tried a few of them. My friend Brian has... a Stereotone. Actually, you know what? Let me check. I can't remember the names, but Overtone Special. And it was pretty good. It had a kind of Dumble-ish sound, but not Dumble-ish at the same time. It was kind of like a 2-rock amp. It had that rolled out high end thing going on. Had 50 watts of power. It sounded pretty good. I think through the right speaker box, those things really shine. The drive channel was pretty decent from what I remember. You could use it on its own without, actually we recorded it without any pedals on an album I did. Brian did his guitar parts with that amp, and they're made in, you either buy them from Indonesia, I think it's Indonesia or somewhere like that. It could be Indonesia, but they're fine. Like they're good quality handmade amps, or you can buy kits and I think put them together yourself as well. So I think they're a pretty good value amplifier for what you're getting. There's no doubt about it. We've got Ahmad Kareem. Welcome, man. Happy birthday for the other day as well. If you've got any specific questions about that particular Stereotone, let me know and I'll answer you. I also tried like a Tweed Twin Stereotone. I think I did a demo of that and maybe one other one, possibly. I can't remember if it's getting hard to remember exactly what amps and gear I've demoed as opposed to just used. There's like 1,800 videos on my channel with some crazy amount now. So we've got Joe from Yamba in North New South Wales, Australia. How are you, man? Thanks for stopping in. Sander from the Netherlands. Awesome. I want to get there one day. I want to check that place out. Pat says he played a couple of the new Epiphone master-built guitars last week. Really, really nice guitars. Well, they sound nice. I didn't know about that. A little out of the loop. I tried to avoid all the NAMM stuff. I couldn't deal with it. It's it was one of those things where I just didn't want to know about it, but I probably should check into some of this stuff. So, when you're around gear a lot, the last thing you want to do is get spam. Oh, wow, these look fantastic. So, Pat, thanks for the tip here, mate. Let me share this with you folks. I'll show everyone what's going on. So this is what we're looking at. I've got some beautiful guitars here, none of which are, of course, left-handed, but who knows? Wow, cool, man. These look great. So let's just click on this one. Far out. Look at the headstock. The headstock looks amazing. There's some videos here too. So if you get on the Epiphone website, you can check them out. Comes in 2 colors. Ooh, I kind of like that. That's cool. Did they ever do like a T-Bone Walker electric style? No, they haven't done that. Maybe one day. If you've ever seen T-Bone Walker's electric guitar, I think they used to do one actually. Kind of like the Joe Pass guitar. But yeah, very cool. All right, we're back. So yeah, I'll have to check them out, man. I'm going to do a live stream hangout like a proper one. This is just an improv late night thing that I'm going to do. I won't be able to do it tomorrow, which is usually the day I'd like to do it. So I'll probably do it Monday. I'll schedule up a video, and anyone who wants to join, You can email me at intheblues@outlook.com if you want to be on the mailing list to join the live streams, like actually talk via video. All right, so in regards to the Stereotone, can you play it at lower volumes as 50 watts is big? I'm pretty sure it had a power attenuator. From what I remember, you could drop it down. I'm pretty certain on that. I could be wrong. It's been years since I've played it, so it wasn't mine. So I only got a chance to use it a couple of times, but I have a feeling it had a power attenuator on there. The other option you could go down is actually get like a volume box and put it in the effects loop of the amp. Might be a way to do it as well, or some sort of THD hot plate kind of thing, and you can drop the load down, the output volume down. All right, so Mercer asks if I played a Rickenbacker. I haven't played one. I don't think I've ever seen a left-handed Rickenbacker anything, anywhere. So that's always the way. I'll pick up a righty and let you know what I think. We've got Charlie from New Jersey. Man, it must be early in the morning there, or very late. So welcome. We've got Paul. He says, best all-round speaker upgrade for the Supersonic 22. My thought would be, and you know what? I've only used a couple of speakers in that amp. I've had a chance to use the Cannabis Rex, which was okay. What I would do if I owned a Supersonic 22, I'd probably be, if you're looking for that blues rock sound, try an Eminence Texas Heat speaker. They got a really great vibe about them. I think they'd work well in that amp. But the thing is, my suggestion always would be to try and find as many videos as you can. Make sure you like the sound of it. That's all I do when I go to buy a speaker. I listen to as much as I can and then hope for the best. But when you get a speaker too, generally it's going to be a much, much better speaker than that the stock speaker. So I was reading Tokai on the comments here, and all you'll need to sort of learn is how to EQ that speaker. It's going to mean you're going to have to tweak the EQ a little bit differently. You won't need as much bass. You probably won't need as much mids because it's a much fatter speaker. It's really great. I would, if I owned a Supersonic 22, I'd put a Texas Heat in there. All right. So Ahmad says, hopefully a Les Paul will be in my possession by the end of the month. Oh, congrats, man. Awesome stuff. And you're a lefty too. So I expect to see this acquisition on a future live stream. That's awesome. So Francis got a 2009 Tokai LS 105, but it's brand new. So let me check out what that one is exactly. I'll share that with everybody. Oh, very nice. Yeah, these are beautiful guitars. So congrats. I'm happy for you, man. That's awesome. So here's some Google images of that particular guitar. Yeah, well, it looks like France sell a lot of Tokai stuff too. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's an LS80. So the 105. That might be one. Yeah, that's it there. So what a beautiful looking guitar. Awesome work. Yeah, I've still got my Les Paul Tokai. I don't have my Gibson Gold Top anymore, but I've got my Jap Tokai still. So congrats, man. That's great stuff. All right. Yeah, can't wait to see. Can't wait to look into more of that guitar, and also can't wait to see what you got as well, Ahmad. That's fantastic. All right. Do I prefer spruce or mahogany top on acoustics? Yeah. I don't know. I'd say spruce on the most part, but I just like whatever sounds good. I really don't have a preference. I'm not much of an acoustic like nut as I am, I guess, an electric guitar nut. if I like the look of something and it sounds good, for me, that's fine. I wouldn't say I'm one way or the other regarding acoustic guitars and different types of tops. So yeah, sorry, I can't answer that in any more detail. All right, so Franciscus asks, what's my thoughts about gas? I know you posted a video on it, but I want to know. Well, I posted a couple of videos. One was like a 30-minute, 40-minute sort of gear rundown with a guy I know who has one of the best collections in Australia. And what we showed was the tip of the iceberg. So he's got lots of great stuff. My thoughts about gas is it's sort of twofold. Don't do anything financially that's going to put you in a bad place. But also sometimes you got to go through, gas to find out what you really love and what you really like. Everything you buy, you might not keep, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with owning a great guitar or two and then selling one and getting something else. I'm not that attached to instruments as some people might be. So it's just different for everybody. Some people are heavily attached to gear. I'm not at all. I could sell this tomorrow, buy something else. The only thing is, like, there's certain guitars I won't part with. The 52 Telly, I said I'd never sell a gold top, but I did. There was a lot of money tied up in a guitar that I just didn't get the most out of. It was supposed to be my number one guitar, and unfortunately, I don't think it is or was. So I flipped it. I don't feel bad about doing that. It was fine. So in terms of gas, just don't get everything and anything. Get stuff that you think you're going to use in context to the music you're playing. Get pedals that, look, let's put it this way. In terms of pedals and amplifiers, if you're like me and you play a clean channel amp, one amp is probably as good as the other on the most part. I'd say I could probably get 3 out of 5 overdrive pedals to sound the same just by using the EQs. I'm not going to say they're all identical outside of a band mix, but live, a lot of these things will sound the same. So don't get too sucked into buying everything pedal-wise either. Get a couple, get a delay, get a couple of overdrives, a distortion pedal, whatever you want, but you don't really need to go too crazy with pedals on the most part, unless you're a shoegazer / ambient player. All right, so I just got asked what amp was made in Indonesia. I think the Seriotones. I could have the country wrong. I have a feeling it's not the right country, but I think they're made there from memory. It is an Asian country, and it's close to Australia, so I think it's there. All right, so Steven says he just got an Epiphone Joe Pass lefty. Really nice to play, even by a noob. Man, they're great guitars. They are awesome. They're like a nicer version of this in an electric guitar. I'll show folks what they look like for those who don't know. They got the gold hardware. I've played a lefty as well. I actually almost wanted to buy one a while back, but yeah, I didn't think they were, for the music I play, it probably was not really an appropriate purchase, but they look awesome. So, all right, let's show you this. I'll load this up for you. So that's it there. So that's kind of like the T-Bone Walker guitar that I was talking about. He used to play something pretty similar to that. And yeah, actually, I'll type it in too. Yeah, it's a little bit different. It looks like it's got P90s and 3 P90s. I think he had a dual pickup guitar as well. I got it on the front of a cover. Maybe it's this one. It's like an old Harmony guitar or something, but it's probably a Gibson. I can't really tell by the headstock there, but yeah, if you haven't seen T-Bone Walker play, check him out. He influenced guys like Buddy Guy, except he's a shitload better in terms of vocals and probably guitar play. I love Buddy Guy. He's probably one of my favorite live performers, but T-Bone, man, T-Bone was doing shit on guitar no one can do now. He's a monster. So yeah, definitely check him out. All right. All right. So Pete Honor, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, has demoed the Epi Masters. All right, I'll check him out. Thanks, man. What's your opinion on using the Squier Classic Vibe Tally for recording? If it suits the music you're playing, go for it. I don't see why it wouldn't work. There's nothing wrong with the tones of those things, and they sound, they play great and they sound good. If they do what you need them to do for the song, do it. All right, so what's my plans for the channel in 2017? Any exciting stuff planned or hoping to do? It's a good question. I'm always thinking and always trying to come up with stuff that might be interesting and different. If there's one thing I pride myself on, it's like trying not to copy everyone else or getting inspiration from other genres of channels. There's a couple of things I want to do. One I'm not going to give away just yet. I want to actually do some more lefty guitar demos. That's one thing I really want to do. So if you're a lefty, I do plan at some stage, if all goes well, to get those done. I'd like to. That's one thing I definitely want to do. In terms of pedal demos, I think I'm probably going to not do as many cheap pedal demos, like, the $20, $30 pedals. I don't want to do any more of those. So as you can probably tell, over the last sort of 6 months or 3 to 6 months, I've been doing a lot more like higher quality pedals and mid quality pedals, stuff from like Wampler, Rat Pedals, VS Audio, all the Greenchild stuff. I want to do higher quality stuff. That's one thing that I want to definitely do. I'm also going to do more interviews this year. I wanted to do it last year, but it just didn't work out. There was too much going on. I just couldn't get them. I didn't make time for it, whereas I probably could have tried doing that. I'm starting a whole new YouTube channel, actually. That's one thing I'm definitely doing. It's a totally different niche. I've shot the first 2 videos with my friend, and it's kind of like exploring creepy places. I'll leave it at that. That's kind of what it is. It gets me out of the house, and there's some crazy, creepy places here where I live. I'm not here, but not in a 100-kilometer or 60-mile radius kind of thing. So yeah, there's plenty to do with that, and I just wanted to do something different. So that's part of the plan. In terms of what new content I'll be doing, these are things that I think about. I don't know if I'll be doing any more like Mustang patches or anything like that, but I'll try to keep the channel interesting and unique. And there's one thing for sure, I won't be spamming out videos at events. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you enjoy it, that's fine, but it's not what I wanted to do. I want to keep my channel in my own control and not in the control of companies that are helping me make videos. Let's just put it that way. That's one thing I want to do. Anyway, enough about that. All right, so Charlie says, looking for a clean 1-channel head to go with my orange 1112 low wattage. Any suggestions? Looking for one clean channel head. Man, there's plenty. There's plenty of stuff. I don't know like how many watts you want that amp to be and all that kind of stuff, but there's plenty of great clean channel amps out there. There's lots. Hey, we've got David is here, or David. How are you, man? All right, so Pat says, I genuinely had never heard of Tokai before watching your videos, but the more I talk to people I know, I realize I was apparently living under a rock. In the US and North America, they are a lot harder to get. I think our import laws here are very different. Like I can get one anytime I like. And a lot of folks probably, yeah, I guess the Greco brand is maybe more well-known in terms of the Japanese stuff. The Tokai stuff is fantastic. It really is good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Hey, we've got Daz. How are you, man? Welcome. All right, so D says, why is my solid state Fender amp losing volume? I used to only be able to play it at 3 with my band now, and now I must turn it up to 7. Any ideas? It could be a couple of things. Maybe the power transformer is on its way out. It could be that the speaker has crapped itself. Could be part of it. Sometimes in solid state amps, you'll get like a 50-cent part that can go. And when that goes, you lose a lot of your output, or you lose all volume. So maybe something's on its way out on the inside. It's best to take it to a tech. I don't know enough about it to give you exacts. Oh, he says he's had it for 20 years. Well, it's done pretty well. Considering in 20 years, if you used it a lot, you would have replaced valves in a tube amp, maybe 4 times, maybe 3 times. So, yeah, just take it to a tech. If it's worth getting fixed, do it. Don't throw it out. We've got Matt Strong here as well, and Jeff Stewart. How are you, man? Anton 10A says, have I played any heritage guitars? I have. They're amazing. Let me get you the playlist here. When I was at Jerry's Lefty Guitars in Florida, I got to play, I'm going to say between 2 and 5. I can't remember how many there were, but I'll send you the playlist link. You can check them out when you get time. So I'll paste that in the comments below. I think I'm a little bit behind on the comments. There's a lot going on in the chat here. So thanks again. If you just joined the chat, I appreciate it if you give the video the thumbs up if you can. That's always awesome. Thanks, guys. It's good. This is what's cool about the community here. We've got people chatting and asking out each other how they are in the chat instead of just flaming each other. That's why in the blues community, awesome. All right, so David asks, whatever happened to the forum? I had a forum online for about a year and a bit, and I had some critical updates from GoDaddy, and it broke the forum, and there was no recourse to undo the flaw. It basically populated this upgrade, put in something like between 200 and 500 files in lots of different directories, and it broke. There was, and they have a backup script, right? So I backed up my site, I uploaded all this stuff. I'm good with this kind of stuff too. And the backup agent wasn't working, so the site was down. And traffic had slowed on there as well, and that wasn't like, I wanted to leave it online. It wasn't costing me anything to have it up online, but unfortunately, all of that stuff is gone, and I was so pissed off. I ended up quitting GoDaddy pretty much like that following week after I knew I couldn't fix it. I moved all my stuff to a new host, and I've never looked back. Yeah, sorry about the forum, guys. It really sucked. I know. It was horrible having it go. But anyway, yeah, lots of lefties in here. And it's funny because I was watching one of Nick in the States videos recently, and he goes, I have no idea why there's so many lefties on my channel. I'm like, because I helped promote your channel, I think a lot of the lefties subscribed if they liked your videos. That's cool. All right, so Teddy says, really enjoyed the videos from Jerry's Lefty Guitars. Thanks for doing that, Shane. No worries, man. Hopefully I'll try to get back there at some point, all being well this year. I got to get some teeth stuff fixed, which is part of the reason I sold my gold top. So if that all isn't too expensive, which I highly doubt, odds are I'd like to go back and do more. But I don't know if, I don't know if I can afford to go, but I'm going to see how we go. Oh, here's a good question. This is awesome. Best metal song for you. Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie. Man, I love that song. I love that album. I'm a huge White Zombie fan. Rob Zombie, I actually really like his new album too. I've got actual physical CDs of Rob Zombie's stuff. You know what? I used to like Metallica a lot too. I kind of don't listen to them much anymore, but I'd say White Zombie That La Sexo Sisto album is by far my favorite metal album by a mile. I've got it on the car at the moment. I love it. All right. Hi, Shane. Any recommendations on budget locking tuners? Good question. I don't know if GFS sell any, and I haven't used them, but sometimes they sell like decent quality, cheaper stuff. So you can probably check them out. It's just as it sounds. It's called Guitar Fetish. So if you just Google GFS, it'll come up. My suggestion is if it's a decent guitar, put Shallow make locking tuners. They're really good. I had them on one of my Strats, and it was the easiest guitar to string and keep in tune. So really good. All right, so I just got asked, do I have my Fender Deluxe 68 reissue? No, I only kept it about a year, and then I sold it. I go through a lot of amps and gear because I like to demo stuff. So, in the old days, I was literally just buying stuff, demoing it, selling it, moving it on. That was one amp I didn't intend on selling. But the more that I saw about them online, the more problems I was reading as well. Mine made quite a lot of hiss as well at idle, which was weird. And yeah, I don't know. I love the sound of it. I preferred the sound of it at the time over my 65. But I really ended up liking the 65 vibe a little bit more. It's a little cleaner, which sometimes helps. But, it's all subjective. They're all good. All right. So Teddy says there's a Heritage left-handed guitar at the Guitar Colonel in South Melbourne. You know what? I've never been to that shop. Never been there. It's like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes from my house. I should get down there at some point. Heritage stuff's pretty good. I think there's also one at Sky Music. I think I saw one there. David says, hey, Shane, you'll be pleased to know I got myself a Mustang and I don't use it like you did. LOL. And I don't know what you mean by that, but if you, what do you use pedals into it? Is that what you're doing? All right, so D says, do I ever do my own guitar setup work, action fret work? I don't do frets. I do action. I set up my Strat. I set up my Tokai. And I use other guitars as a reference. So if I look down the neck and I can tell it's not warped or bowed, setting up the intonation and the height of the saddles, all that kind of stuff isn't hard. It just takes a little bit of fiddling around. And one good trick is to never turn something too much. If you're going to turn the truss rod quarter turn, so from like here to there, for example, you don't just keep turning it around and around. You only do small turns. And generally, most guitars I buy play pretty good in the shop. So to set it up, I'll just reference my action on another guitar, see how it feels, make a small adjustment, see how it feels, and I do that. So anything from jacks, like replacing a jack in a guitar, putting new pots in, all that kind of stuff. I'll do all of that now. I'll wire up my pick guard. This is just stuff I've trialed and errored over the years too. I can't always get things to work 100%, but I like to give it a shot. Anytime it comes down to frets and having to file them, I let someone else do that. I don't have the tools for it either. All right, so Dinko says, any easy blues licks? Yeah, I got plenty of easy blues licks. It's all I got. All right, here's one for you. Let's come up with one here. All right, what do we got? All right, let's. This is a bit of a cool one. So we'll play in G. Can you see that? All right, let's try this. God, this guitar is huge. So this comes off the G and the B string. So from here. So sliding up to the 7th. So you do that a few times. God, it's hard to play like this. Then back down. Or here's another easy one. So you're bending up. And then you're sort of bending up here. Little half step bend. So it sounds kind of out, but kind of cool. That's another easy one. Anyway. And that will work almost anywhere on the guitar, that particular thing I just played. So you can play it at a different spot like here. And the good thing with learning licks is sing them, because what will happen is in your head, you know, once you can hear that, you can execute it on the guitar. It makes it a lot easier than just sort of going in blind. So when I was learning, what's it called? Brothers in Arms. Yeah, I had to sort of sing the parts. So try to sing the sections of the solos out as you go. That's another little tip here. All right, so Matthew asks, oh, there we go. So actually, before we get to that, Pat Trudeau says the Goto locking tuners are pretty fairly priced. So check them out too for those asking about the locking tuners. Thanks, Pat. How do I rate Vox amps against Fender? How do I rate Ford against Holden or whatever car companies you got? It's personal choice. I think the Vox stuff might be better if you're playing like, you know, sort of the British rock stuff or country music to some extent, actually. Like a Tele and a Vox sound really, really spectacular together. A 335 and a Vox amp seem to work really well. There's one thing that the Vox amps don't have, and that's a whole lot of mids. They're more tops and bottoms, and they sound great with a tube screamer. So you can really get a rock and roll sound out of them as well. I guess I'm talking more about the newer Vox amps. The old ones are just one really loud clean channel. So they're a different beast again. But in terms of the newer stuff, that would be my opinion. Fenders are pedal monsters. If you love your nice big clean channels, you can't beat a Fender for clean. I would say the benefit of the Vox would be you can get it dirty. And it takes pedals reasonably well. I've owned a few Vox amps over the years. I used them exclusively for a few years as well. There's some great tones. And I really loved it with my Tele. All right. Troy says, my sound is Hendrix, Clapton, Trower. Yeah. Eric Johnson. I've narrowed down my sound to a Marshall DSL 100, Blackstar Artist, or HT Club Fender Brace. Oh, he's looking for a new amp. So he's looking for a Marshall. All right. Here's the thing with amps. Get the one you like the sound of the best. Don't even forget about who plays what and what amps are played by this guy, and if they use the coily cable instead of a straight cable. Screw all of that stuff. Listen to all the demos you can and pick the one you like the best. And believe me, it doesn't matter. I can play that PV Bandit behind me and get my sound out of it. I can play my Super Reverb, which is just out of shot here, and get my sound out of it. So the point is, any amp you get, you're going to get your sound out of it on the most part. If you're a pedal guy, I'd probably go for, well, actually, some of the Marshall stuff you've listed probably take pedals pretty well too. I'm not a huge fan of the Blackstar amps. I'm not saying that they're not great, but for what I like, they're not really my sort of sound. If you're into the Marshall kind of vibe, then go for a Marshall. Nothing wrong with them. You know, it's just a personal choice thing. So get the one you like the best. All right, have I tried the Blackstar HTR series amps. I've tried the 40 watt combo and a whole lot of their smaller amps. I've got demos of some of those on my channel too. I can't remember all the model numbers of those, but they're fine. Like, they got 3 channels usually, some of them. Some have 2 or 1. I really like the 210 combo, I think it was. Oh, excuse me, or a 2 8-inch speaker combo. That thing was fantastic. Actually, I like that more than the Blues Junior. It was an awesome amp. All right. All right, let me scroll down here. I'm a little behind. All right, so Mike says, what amps am I still using? Super Reverb, which is in my green screen over here with my Windex. I've got the PV Bandit, which is there, and my Blues Deluxe is actually behind the Bandit, behind the green screen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you that where it's set up right now, but yeah, no, it's not going to sit. Oh, just lost my setting. There we go. Yeah, the Blues Deluxe, and that's it. I don't have any other amps. As you may know, I bought a Hot Rod DeVille 212 recently. I sold it recently, and I've got a video coming up about that on Tuesday or Monday or whatever day, so stay tuned for that. All right, so here we go. What's my favorite guitar shop in Melbourne? You know, there's stores that are really good, but then there's the staff that really ruin it. And then there's staff that are really great at some shops, but then they never have any lefties. I really like sort of trawling the secondhand market in shops. That's where I tend to get some cool stuff. Yeah, it's hard to give you an exact answer. I shop around. I'm not really ever committed to one store, but if you're in Melbourne, I'll give you a list of the ones I've gone to and bought stuff from. So Deluxe Guitars, I picked up an amp and a couple of pedals from there over the years. Sky Music. The customer service is kind of shit. Like, there's one guy in there who's all right, but I find that the other guys, you know, the stoners or whatever, they're not very useful. Sindel Music, that's where I got my gold top. I also bought my old gold Strat, my Deluxe Strat. Also bought, what else did I get from there? My 335, the Tokai as well. They've generally got more lefties in these sort of small shops. I'll go to cash converters and check stuff out as well. I'm not against doing that. I really like going to the secondhand stores. What other shops? There's the Rock Garage, which I've gone to. I bought my last left-handed Tokai Les Paul from there. Yeah, that's about it. I'd say they're the shops that I like best. I can't really think of many others that I go to either frequently or, of course, World of Music. That's the other one that I go to. I bought my white Strat from there and my pedal board and a whole bunch of stuff. So that would be about it. That's the closest one to my house. All right, so Daz says, I was thinking about trying a George Evans amps and also a Royal Reverb. What's your thoughts on these amps? Royal Reverb will wipe the floor with the George Evans amp. 100%. I think the George Evans amps are one of those amps that sound really nice on their own. I've heard them in a mix, mic'd up on a big stage, and I didn't like it at all. And the guy could play. I just thought it was all tops, scratchy, weird. I'm not saying they're all like that, but this is just the limited experience I've had with them. I know the guy that makes them. I've been to his house, and I had to listen to them. And on their own, they sound pretty cool, but they're heavy. And I was a little underwhelmed when I heard them in the real world. Let's put it that way. I was blown away by them when I heard them on their own. And that's the reason I sold my last amp. So we've got David Elliott. He says, hey, Shane. Oh, yeah, sorry. Before I get to that, Daz, the Super Royal Reverb is as good as a Super Reverb, but half the height. So, and probably the same weight. An amp's fantastic. 35-watt mode all day. One of the best tones I've ever heard. So that's my perspective on it. This is the thing. If you like the other one, get the other one. Hey Shane, Dave here from Liverpool, from the UK. Welcome. I saw your Facebook post about downsizing your guitars. Did you get rid of that amazing gold top? I did. It's sold. I got to get some teeth stuff done. Some of it sooner than later. So I'm going to get a couple of fillings and wisdom teeth removed. So that'll be fun. And then I may need braces. The only thing I did buy once I sold it, I got a new monitor. I've had an 8-year-old computer monitor. Now I've got one that I can actually see properly. The rest is going on my teeth. And that wasn't the only reason I sold it too. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, I bought that guitar with the intention that it'd be like the only one that I would play. And although it's a beautiful guitar, it sounded great. It felt good to play. I still felt more comfortable on a Tele or a Strat or my Little Crow. And it's just the way that it is. I think something to do with all those. I don't know what it was. I ended up not loving it as much as I hoped. All right, so Jesh, is that how you say it? Sorry, man. He says, should I buy the Boss Metal Zone for death metal with my single coil Strat? You know, those metal zones aren't as bad as what people think. I don't think they're that bad for that type of sound. There's a million distortion pedals out there that you can get. So my suggestion is either just, if you like the sound of those videos and sound samples and all that kind of stuff, then go for it. If you don't, then don't buy it. Find one that you like the sound of. Type in metal distortion pedal into YouTube and you'll get 9 million results, and go through those until you find one that you like. So I got asked, hey Shane, do you know Rama Satria Klaproth, Indonesian Australian bluesman? I don't. I've never heard of him before. Sorry. Interesting name though. I might have to check that out. Do I still have my little Bugera? I do. Sorry, I totally forgot about that. I'm in a room, different room. My Bugera lives out in the lounge room. This is my little studio room in here. So it's not often in here. Although I had it in here yesterday, I was recording some stuff, but yeah, I leave that out there. So I've still got the Bugera. So that's 4 amps all up. That's enough for me. I don't need any more. Notice you did some video on the PV Studio amp. Have you tried the Envoy model? I haven't tried those, no. Oh, Joel says, do you like Cranberry Music? Yeah, I used to go to Cranberry Music all the time. I must have bought 12 amps from them over the years. And a number of guitars and mics. And I totally forgot about Cranberry Music. Cranberry Music changed. They moved to like somewhere else, and I don't go there. I just forgot to go. I don't know what it is. Once I used to like to drive out to Cranbourne sometimes. So it sounds kind of crazy, but where they are now, they're in the middle of an industrial sort of area. I've been once. That's it. I do like them though. They're nice guys. They're good staff. Actually, that's the exception to the rule. They're good staff. They know their shit. Good prices. Yeah, like I said, I bought amps and all kinds of stuff from them. I used to go to the city store quite a bit when I was working in the city as well. Hey, Stop No Name says, hey, my pickup's on the way. He's just ordered some Mick Briley pickups, which I've got in my Little Crow Corvino SD, so mini humbucker, and a matched bridge single coil Telecaster pickup, which is cool. Good stuff, man. You're gonna love those things. All right, so here's an interesting question. How often do I use hearing protection for rehearsals and live gigs? And could you suggest any great products, brands to protect ears in loud music situations? Absolutely. Every time I listen to live music, say 9 out of 10 times, one time I might forget to bring my earplugs. I have them in. I don't always have them in when I play. I might have one in from time to time. I'll type the brand out. So there's a brand called Heroes, like H-E-A-R. Hopefully I typed it right that way around. No, I didn't. I typed it wrong. It's like hear as in hearing. think it's spelt that way. And they make awesome 15 decibel, 18 decibel reduction earplugs. Anytime I go to jam nights quite a bit, maybe once a week, once every second week. And I have them in all night, except for when I'm playing. Depending on the situation, if I'm playing with a really close to a really loud drummer, I'll have one in that side. I don't always have them in when I play. I find it takes away from the vibe. But anytime when I finish playing, put them in, and I'll sit the rest of the night with them in. It actually helps you hear people next to you as well. So definitely check out Heroes. They're really great earplugs, and they'll last you 2 years easily. You just wash them from time to time and take the ends off, kind of wash the ends, put them back on, you're good to go. And you don't lose the high end, which is pretty cool. David says he must have 15 minutes of internet delay. I think what's happening is I'm like 2 pages up I'm not at the bottom I'm not keeping up with the stream. So, all right, so Daz says, I think Shane just helped me solve my dilemma. I'll get the Royal Reverb. Yeah, do it. Mate, if you don't like it, I'll buy it off you. I'd love to buy one of those amps, man. The Super Royal Reverb it's epic. It is 35 watt mode, especially, is some of the best tone I've ever used. I think it sounds fantastic. All right, so Mr. Jamie, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, man. Sorry. Oh, Jammy Eye. There we go. He says, is there much difference between a 500-pound acoustic guitar and a 1,500-pound acoustic? 1,000 pounds. No. So that's what I was sort of getting at the start of the stream. This is a $500 Epiphone acoustic guitar. And while I'm not going to say it's as good as a $5,500 Gibson acoustically, it's probably like 70% of the way there acoustically. I'm not sure how this pickup would actually compare to a Gibson of the same, magnitude of the high-end stuff. But that's the question. Like, is my $1,500 to $1,700 Tokai guitar as good as a $4,500 Gibson? It is. But not everything is going to be the equivalent of that. Like, there's things out there that, like the Squier Classic Vibe, which is as good as many guitars out there that are way more expensive. They just are. They're really, really good. So it depends on the guitar, and it depends if you can tell there's $1,000 or 1,000 pounds difference, which is like $2,000 here, I guess, or 2,500 or however much it is. So that's a huge price jump in pounds. And is it justified? You have to justify that to yourself. Is it one guitar you never want to get rid of and always have? Maybe it's worth 1,500 pounds. Are you not sure? I wouldn't buy it if you're not sure. I'd buy the one that suits your budget, suits your playing, and the one you like the sound, the look of, more so than just going off price. If it makes you feel any better, my ES335 is a Tokai. $1,500 I got that for back in the day, and I had a $3,800 Gibson ES335. That shits on it in every way, tone-wise, feel. It played better. Didn't have any problems with the nut. The neck wasn't bent. It didn't sound like there was wet towels over the pickups. It just sounds good. So in that case, the cheaper guitar was much, much better, but not always. Oh, David says, that's a weird coincidence. I just had a filling drop out about 5 minutes ago, and I've got a new wisdom teeth coming through. Oh, man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. That's no good. Yeah, I got to get my bottom ones out. They're annoying me. Like, I can't actually open my mouth as wide anymore, I reckon. It's sort of like, kind of like locking up my jaw. Oh, here we go. I tell you what, guys, what I'm going to do, I've been on here a bit longer than I probably realized. I'm just going to step in the other room and grab some water. My throat's starting to go, so bear with me for 2 secs. I'll be right back. All right. That's better. All right, so David, you're taking off, man. Catch you later. Thanks for stopping in. Baptiste P says, hey, I don't know what to buy in way of an overdrive to play blues music. I hesitate between the Wampler Paisley Drive, the OCD by Full Tone, the Mad Professor, or Little Green Wonder. Well, the Paisley Drive is based on a Vox. It's based on a Dr. Z, which is based on a Vox. So it's a very, very different sound to the rest of those. The OCD I like. I had a lot of fun doing a demo, and I've got one. But I find, and my friend Rick pointed this out, there's a top end you can't get rid of. It's got this presence on the high end that's very, very, it cuts. And it's hard to dial that out even with the tone control. Little Green Wonder's an awesome pedal. If I had to pick one of those three, I'd probably pick the Little Green Wonder for myself. I think it's got all the qualities of a tube screamer, but it goes way bigger and dirtier, and you can get it to sound fuller and thicker and all that kind of stuff. I reckon the most versatile pedal in there is that Little Green Wonder in your list. So that's a great pedal. All right. Virtual Life says that's a huge acoustic, but nice looking. Yeah, thanks, man. It's an Epiphone EJ200 SCE. It's I call it the once a year guitar. It's about as often as it gets used. So yeah. Hit some really bad notes there. That's better. There's a good riff for you as well. This is a Ronnie Earl riff that I pinched off a video years ago. I'll show you this. This is a really cool run. So it's an E riff, like. So what you do, you play the 4th fret on the E string and the 4th fret on the D string, and you go back towards this side, like down near my thumb here. Oh, sorry, you play the G string. So E and G, and you also pick in the open E on the bottom here. Then you're just playing off the G here. It's a nice little turnaround too. Or you can do it the other way. You can also go up. In context, that will work that way as well. So yeah, but the turnaround. And that Clapton thing, what is it? So yeah, little acoustic trick. One of the few that I know. All right, so Dave asks, hey Shane, I was wondering if fellow countryman Wolf Mail is still active. Man, that guy had a tone to die for on his tally. I'm not too sure, man. I don't know. BV Ninja says, ETYMOTIC, Eddie Modic. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, or Etymotic, makes some great inner ear sound protection. Cool, so check them out. That says the demo on my Royal Reverb stunned him in a good way. That's awesome. It was one of the most fun amps I've ever demoed. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so Mike says he was thinking about dropping some Joe Budden pickups into his telly. Would you put them in again if you telly, or go for some? Oh man, so he's asking me if I bought another telly or if I had other pickups, would I use them instead of the Bardens? The Bardens are the best buzz-free pickups I've ever had. I took them out and put regular single coils in, hand-wound runs and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up going back to the Bardens. They got all the same tones. They don't buzz, except they handle overdrive and distortion so much better. There's no squeal, none of that stuff. Dead silent, best single coil sized, noiseless pickups or hum-free pickups. For those who are jaded by the term noiseless, I don't blame you. So yeah, Joe Barden pickups. You'll see my Telecaster. I said this years ago. You'll see that Telecaster I've got with those Joe Bardens until the day I give it away because I can't play anymore. All right. All right. So Paul says that's a little water. Not too sure what that means, but a little water. Yeah. I thought you meant in reference to that run I was doing. This is 2 liters, man. Half a gallon almost. I try to have 2 of these a day. I'm on a quest at the moment to get fit. David says, I just wanted to apologize for Trump. Hopefully he'll be impeached soon. Yeah, they've been saying that about a lot of presidents, but anyway, let's not go there. Yeah, so Mr. Jam says that acoustic guitar sounds great. I think I prefer the look of the non-cutaway version. Do you think Epiphone will ever go back to making them? I'm not too sure if they still do them or not. I haven't seen a lefty other than this one. There is another acoustic guitar that they make, but I can't think of the name of it. It's got like a Nashville, possibly Epiphone Nashville or something like that. Epiphone. It's got a name of a place possibly on it. That's a full like non-cutaway guitar, and it's got a more tobacco burst finish, and they're fantastic. I hear they're as good as most Gibson guitars, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, aesthetically and the way that this plays, if I showed someone who didn't know guitar this, they'd go, oh yeah, that'd be worth about $3,000. It's got the gold hardware and the all gold sort of, yeah, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the finish is beautiful. So yeah, they make good stuff. So the best tele pickups I've found so far, Joe Buns or Lindy Freylands. Cool. All Lolas. Yeah. I think, I don't know. I just think in terms of traditional single coil sized tele pickups, if the buzz annoys you at all, go for the Bardens. If it doesn't, go for the ones you like the sound of the best. I put the Bardens up against anything. I think they're great. Yeah, cutaways, the advantage to a cutaway acoustic guitar is you can get up a little bit further, but not that much further, because I'll tell you why. Let's do it this way. It'd be like me playing here. You know, I can still get, if this, you know, I could still reach a few frets this way, which is probably the equivalent of here. So I can get up a little bit further, but your hand, like to really reach over this clunky bit here, this join, it's hard. You can't really do a whole lot of playing up high. Like, I guess I could get to G and that would be about it. I'll let this new Chris Kane leak. Here we go. That'll come out in the playing in about 3 months once I get it. But the point is, like, yeah, I'd have to really practice. And I mean, look where my hand is. It's pushed up right against. I got huge hands too, by the way. Like, I got really big hands. But to get to there comfortably and play is extremely awkward. So are you really going to be doing like on an acoustic guitar all the way up there? I don't know, maybe. G was about as far as you need to go. Oh, I say G, but I mean this fret, this 15th. Yeah, I don't think I can get much further up. Here's another good lick for you. This is an Albert King lick. One of my favorite licks of his. We'll play it in A, so it's a bit easier. So we got on the dots on the G. So that used to be sort of like sign off lick on the end of the 12 bar. Oh. Far out. There you go. So in context. Great lick. Just an awesome. Yeah, once you can hear that in your head, you'll place it. It sounds great over the 5 chord as it's kind of coming back down. Yeah, back to the 1. So I guess it works on the 1, but it works on the turnaround really well. Anyway, there we go. Virtual Life says he tries to avoid playing blues licks on an acoustic guitar because of fret wear. Yeah, that's fair enough. This just actually doesn't have big frets on it either. They're actually quite small, which is weird. Well, I guess it's not that weird. It's probably common of Epiphone and most Gibsons to have pretty small frets anyway. The reason I got this was just for recording purposes. So I use it for stuff when I do albums. I'm working on some new songs right now. And like I said earlier in the stream, I'm going to change the strings for the first time. It lives in the case under the bed, this thing. But, you know, it sounds all right. Let's try this. Yeah, I don't know, with this picking thing, for anyone who's interested, I never really followed any particular method with it. It's, if you're watching like what I was just doing then, I'm sort of using whatever finger becomes available. So it's sort of, I don't know, it's really hard to see on the webcam, but I'm sort of, I guess most of it is index finger, thumb, and ring finger. Yeah, I don't really use my little finger at all. Maybe that's just, I very seldom use it on any lead parts. I don't have a lot of good dexterity or strength maybe in this little finger. It kind of bends funny. But if you watch Gary Moore, I posted some awesome Gary Moore clips on my In the Blues Facebook page recently. And that dude, man, 3 fingers all day. Never used his little finger when he soloed. And he just rips the shit out of it. He absolutely does. He's very underrated, man. Good old Gary, he's a monster. It was a monster. Probably overdid it a little bit with some of the blue stuff, but he did his own thing. So got to give him credit for that. All right, so I've got Mr. Hisjam 1999 says, hello, how are you, man? Matt Strong says, 12:37 in the afternoon in Manchester. Welcome. Do I have a favorite guitar? Electric acoustic guitar. I don't. I'm not huge into acoustic guitars. Not that I don't admire a lot of guitars out there, but I really don't have one that I play or couldn't live without. I don't feel that way about acoustic guitar, and that's just a personal thing. I get much more fulfillment and satisfaction playing electric guitar. I can express myself better on it. It's an easier guitar to play than an acoustic to get the stuff that I really like. You know, there's certain things I do like on acoustic guitar. Like that stuff I was just doing sounds great. in context of music or whatever. I really like that simple old school acoustic blues stuff as well. What was the other one? The Key to the Highway sort of stuff. I like that sort of stuff. I'm just not, I guess, as strong a player on acoustic as I would be on electric guitar. It's a lot harder to, change the way that I'd have to really change my approach rhythmically, because I'm so used to playing with band and other people. I have a really strong electric guitar playing method that works well in bands and works well when I play live. I've got a good combination of chords and lead stuff that I can throw in, and also not overplay. And when you play acoustic on your own, you have to overplay kind of. It can be more subtle as well, but you generally have to fill out the sound. So, for me to play an original song that was written with a particular type of feel, like one of my songs is just like, oh, hang on. For me to play that on acoustic now, I'd have to get that percussive thing going or strum. And that's a really over-exaggerated way of playing, but I don't know. Yeah, for me, I don't know. Maybe I just have to strum stuff more. But to me, that takes out a lot of my personality in my playing, just raw strumming. I think it kind of dumbs it down. I like kind of if I was playing with a band, I could probably still do what I do on an electric guitar on this to some extent. But the point is, if I'm just sitting there strumming, to me, that doesn't hit me in the, I'm really, like, there's no blues faces while I'm going. It just doesn't work, So yeah, I can't remember the point of the conversation now, but I guess I don't feel acoustic guitar as much as I do electric. But that said, I love acoustic guitar played great. Hey, we've got Dan Lopez here. How are you, man? Welcome. Check out Dan Lopez's channel. He's got some pretty cool, interesting, and different videos going up. All right, so Mr. Kareem, how are you, Mark? He says, hey, Shane, have you tried out any of those older PV amps you posted in a recent pic? I have. So for those who don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I post lots of stuff on there that doesn't make it to one or the other sometimes. So if you're on Instagram, you can find me at INTHEBLUES with an underscore at the end. I posted some pictures of 80s Bandit. So the Teal Stripe Bandit, the Teal Stripe Studio Pro 50, which is the Studio Pro. They also had a PV Envoy, the small practice amp, and they had a different version of the Bandit, which wasn't the red stripe one. It was the one before it, and I can't think of what you call that one off the top of my head. But I'll tell you what, Dan Lopez basically posted the history of the PV Bandit on his channel. So go over, check that video out. And I tried them. They sounded pretty good. I really wanted the Studio Pro 50, but I plugged it in and it rattled. There was something in the head that was rattling, and if I couldn't have fixed it easily, it would have done my head in, and I wouldn't have wanted it. So I didn't need another Bandit. I've got a PV Bandit on the floor. Those other Bandits sound awesome. And they were a decent price too, considering US made in Mississippi, home of the blues. It, you know, for the non-tube snobs out there, they're a great amp. All right. Daniel says you don't have to use the effects loop. You can run all the pedals through the front. Yeah, absolutely. You don't need to run pedals through the effects loop because that's what some people do. They say delay pedals can sound better that way or cleaner, all that kind of stuff. But I don't. I never use an effects loop at all. I don't think the Super Reverb even has one. And it's more cables. Like, I don't want to hook in a lot of stuff. I'm too lazy for that. So Virtual Life says, agree. If you play acoustic guitar, you really have to go finger picking to breathe life into music. Yeah, and there's a trick. Like if you watch guys like Knopfler play, and you know he's arguably one of the best pickers of all time, and he plays with Chet Atkins and all kinds of guys. So he's not just Dire Straits. Look up some of his acoustic stuff. He's got this like he's always bouncing between the bass notes, and then he's adding melody in as well. So there's a lot going on. It doesn't look complicated until you try to work it out. He reckons that was the hardest thing he ever had to learn, was getting independence from the bass notes, like getting that going. Well, it was actually a different pattern. I think it's like E A E D E A E D. I can't even say it, but that's the pattern with his thumb, and then he's playing the rest of the stuff with his fingers. That stuff, if you can do that, I'll listen to that all day. I just can't play like that. My goal last year was to try to learn it, and after about 2 weeks, I gave up. I should try that again at some point. My dad says he's got a Silver Stripe Bandit. Awesome stuff that I could demo if I liked. All right, cool, man. Well, that might be a bit of fun. I appreciate that. Maybe do a comparison video with the old Red Stripe one. The Bandits are great amps. You know, I think they're underrated. They're very loud, and they fill rooms, no problems at all. All right, how long have I been going for, folks? What's the count on the stream? Must be going a while now. All right, an hour and 20 minutes ish. Far out. All right, I might have to call it a night. I think it's, what time is it here? It's 11:47 p.m. So it's getting kind of late. I might hit the hay. I got to do some voiceover stuff tomorrow. So hey, stay tuned. I got a really cool. 40 minutes. Okay. It's been going longer than 40 minutes, man. I'm sure I've been here for a lot longer. I got a new YouTube channel coming up, and it's going to be funny and scary. That's all I can say. It's a friend of mine, and I we went out looking at some crazy sort of buildings and stuff. So yeah, it's just going to be completely off topic and fun to do something different and just to mix things up. It was a huge job editing it. And if you like my documentaries, it's like the same length as that, except way more editing went into it. And I think it's the best 2 videos I've ever produced by a mile. So I'll post links to that on In the Blues, but they'll be hosted somewhere else. But I'll definitely keep everybody posted on that. All right, folks. So yeah, if you're into the PV amps, definitely check out Dan Lopez's YouTube channel. He put a really interesting history of PV amps video up. So yeah, check it out. I had a good listen to that. I can't remember if I commented on it or not, but it was really cool. So thanks again for all your support, folks. And if you just joined the stream before it finishes, please give it a thumbs up if you can. I appreciate that. And yeah, we'll catch you all soon. I'll do another live stream coming up, maybe Monday, like a hangout one. So for those on the list, on the email list, you can join in, have a chat as well. I just thought I'd do a live stream for something to do. I don't know if this will be archived long term or not, but we'll see how it goes. But thanks again, folks, and I'll catch you all soon. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you live. So take care.